Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Amazon European Masters. We're about to round out Group A. But before we do that, though, we do have an interview with a lovely guy. It is none other than Pride. You've all known him from this time in Fnatic Rising, making finals, but this time, though, only making it to the group stage, but still an impressive performance here today, 2-1 overall. How do you feel, Pride, with how today has been?
Yeah, I mean, we finished today at 2-1, right? But we're obviously very disappointed that we didn't make it out of the groups. I think everyone has their regrets, especially for me, like coming from the final and then not even making it out of the groups hurts. But, there's still summer split, and that's what my focus will be on.
And obviously, Pride, I remember you retire sort of planes to finals run previously with the Fnatic Rising roster, and obviously join a brand new whole project, right? It's the first time this team has been built. The entire roster is like brand new. You guys are playing together for the first time, and you've managed to get second seed, make it to groups, have a pretty impressive performance as well. I want you to tell me what sort of like your future goals are for this team, and how do you see it working with like your current teammates?
Yeah, I mean, my goal has always been and will always be to win the EU Masters and to make it to the LEC, of course. Winning the EU Masters is the top thing you can reach outside of the LEC. I think we showed that we can improve very fast with this team. Like we started 0-4 in the split, in the Prime League split, but we bounced back. We had like an insane miracle run. We ended up second place. So I think we definitely have the potential, and we just need to be more efficient and work on it.
Absolutely, we've seen you at the top, right? And you're still top notch, so you'll make it there for sure again. Now, I would like to have your prediction, because we have both RGO Rogue and Vitality B playing against each other for the first seed. Which one do you think will take it, and why?
It's actually hard to say. I think Rogue played a very interesting draft previously, right, with the Rengar Ivern. So honestly, I feel like if they have more cheese like this prepared, it can go both ways. But I think if they play standard, Vitality will just smash them. Okay,
standard Vitality, crazy Rogue. Thank you very much, Pride.
Yeah, let's see if that rings true. Thank you so much for your time, Pride, and congratulations on the wins you got today. Commiserations for not making it through. It's been great having you on broadcast and a very insightful interview. Best of luck moving forward.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
And with that, Trouble, we only have one game left of today, but before we start talking too much about that, let's take a look. Yeah, I baited you so hard, but look, I'd rather take a look at some of the crazy action we just had in this game.
Okay, so this game was clinical, honestly. The early game was clinical for Eintracht Spandau. They drafted for top side of the map, the Jace, Lilia Renekton, the AP combo. They managed to snowball Pride's Renekton at 6-0, and then they just used him to take every single Alta tower pre-20 minutes around the map. Then a few whoopsies happened, like this one where Pride oversteps a little bit. The team doesn't know if they want to just take the tower or they want to engage a fight. A really nice hook comes in from Tasteless, and if Golden Toast stays alive for the entire of the fight and starts getting excited, starts getting these resets, here is what happens. He will take one kill and then he will snowball the fight. Wondro also had time to reset, go back, TP back into the fight, finishes it by killing both kinetic and special as well. And honestly, it looked like there were glimpses of hope for Svernas Vesta, but then it becomes really difficult, right? If in 20 minutes you have lost every single Alta tower, it's really difficult to walk inside your jungle, get that vision, especially when even your jungler, who's supposed to be your tank, instantly dies when they face check. So it was a really rough game to play for Svernas Vesta. There were glimpses of hope. There were glimpses where we thought Golden Toast might make the montage play with the Jinx after getting one of the resets, but right here was their last try to save the game. They played a team fight. There was no tower left. The engage came in a little bit too late. The tower was already gone. There was already a mid lane wave pushing their Nexus towers as well, and Eintracht Spandau were able to split them apart and take them down.
Yeah, Eintracht Spandau obviously managing to take the win in the end, and it was a game where they really dominated the early game. They had a crazy early game where Pride really was the main man, but as we moved into the late game, it felt like both AD carries, Kinetic, and Golden Toast had their time to shine. In the end, though, it simply wasn't enough. You could see in the gold graph, there was a few bumps here and there. It wasn't a perfect game from Eintracht Spandau, but they definitely showed improvements from the first couple of group days to this day. Now going 2-1, only losing to RGO Rogue.
Okay, Renekton sucks. This guy was 6-0, and still Lilia and Jace did more damage. I'm gonna side 100% with the less here. Renekton sucks. It did its work. Pride played it fantastically in the early game, but Renekton sucks.
Okay, so we'll leave it at that, but let's start talking about this next game, Trouble. Match of the day. They're
Take me
battling
away
for
from the
first
Renekton
place.
damage.
And
Take
let's
me
take a
away.
look at the lineup. Vitality B versus RGO Rogue. Winner takes first seed. Loser takes second, still moves through, but Vitality B, 4 ex-LEC players and a promising mid laner and Diplex. Strong roster, strong roster.
Absolutely. Sigenda, Skins, Diplex, Jaskla, and Jackdrall. Pretty much you surely know a lot of these names, as you previously mentioned, all except Diplex ex-LEC players. And right here we have Sinmivak, Rubble, and Knight, who played together in Gamer Legion last season. Laka and Beans, who slotted into the roster as well as a substitute. And obviously they're both coming in with only one defeat under their belt. The only defeat though that RGO Rogue have underneath their belt is that one to Vitality B. But actually, earlier on today, Laka said that if they do end up playing their game, it's going to be a 3-0 day for them.
Let's see, I am certainly excited. We also had a chat with none other than the mid laner, of course, of RGO Rogue in Night. And you know what he also said? He said he had some spicy stuff up his sleeve that might be pulled out. So I'm very excited for this draft. Normally I wouldn't be excited for draft, but after what RGO Rogue pulled out earlier, everything can happen.
I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a Soraka ban, because it has been hovering about, and with Sinmivak having such a stellar performance onto the Gwen, even if you don't run the Ivan Rengar, it becomes a little bit problematic having to deal with all the healing that comes through globally from the Soraka, especially when you play the Gwen, and she heals a lot herself as well, plus the cleanse of the grievous wounds. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see it here, especially since we heard about a lot of maybe cheese coming through for the bunch of picks. It's going to be the Zeri, very surprising for Vitality B, and if this is not a LeBlanc pick, that'd also be surprising, because then LeBlanc and Volibear will be left open for Vitality B.
Javan, though, is the last ban for RGO Rogue. That means a lot of things are actually open. Trouble, you like this? You mentioned it earlier. The Hover had 100% win rate today, so maybe
I'm just gonna say, Vitality B lost to Eintracht Spandau. I looked at the draft because I was watching the games. There was not a single hover. I'm just saying.
Now though, RGO Rogue hovering what they played just that last game. Maybe they go toward that again, but it would surprise me if they did. It doesn't seem like the best move now that your opponents know the strategy, but they're going for it. I mean, they weren't beaten before and it worked wonders, so why not run it back?
Absolutely, and I think also the whereabouts of whoopsies that RGO Rogue will learn from on that game. Now the thing is that RGO Rogue did not have the best siege in that game, so even though they were winning fights, they were a little bit disjointed. Rubble was running a little bit far ahead of the other ones, and I think if they lock in the Gwen right here, I think it's a really good takeaway, because you take away that AP scaling side laner that you would have in the likes of Gwen, and then the next one that comes to mind is maybe potentially like something like a cannon, maybe a Mordekaiser even, that has received a few buffs here and there, but like nothing will compare to the Gwen in terms of scaling and healing and side lane pressure, especially at level 60.
And it's not just taking away the Gwen, it's giving it to Sigenda, one of the most prominent carry top laners, and then not going towards an AP top lane. Instead, someone who has a little bit of AP damage, but it is Simnivek being put on the Jax of all things.
I like this because that means you can play towards the top side of the map, or at least you can scale into the late game the same way as well. Jax is the same type of champion, just AD style, where you want to scale into the late game and actually be a nuisance on the side lane. Now, my question here is, do you ban the Soraka away? You've already banned the Yuumi away. Do you ban the Soraka away? Because without the Soraka on a side lane or Soraka bot lane, you're running into a little bit of a trouble of not having a lot of AP damage if you do lock in the Soraka. Because yes, the Ivan does a bit of AP damage, and yes, the Soraka does a little bit of AP damage, but like you lose that mix that the Rengar plus Gwen brought to you in the mix in terms of hyper scaling into the late game, because the Gwen has been taken away. So because Soraka has been banned away here, I'm expecting maybe to even see something like even a Seraphine potentially in the bot side.
Yeah, so RGO Rogue, they get the two main pieces with the special duo of the Ivan and the Rengar, but they have now been denied 2 puzzle pieces into that 5-brick puzzle. So I am very excited to see what they go towards. They bring up some great ideas, I feel, with the Seraphine. But no, they're hovering something different at the moment. Let's see if they lock it in. So they go for the Braum instead. They're definitely changing plans, it feels like.
I really like the Braum here, especially since you're playing against the Zarya, and the Zarya is playing into the lethality build, so the QE can be completely blocked by the Braum, since he blocks projectiles with the shield. Now, I'm wondering what they're going to choose to pair up the Braum with, because usually you'd want to pair it up with something like a Lucian that can proc very easily, if you will, the passive. But if you look on the other side, Braum is usually a very prominent champion into a lot of melee champions. And so far, Vitality B have 3 of these melee champions. If they lock in a top laner that's melee, a mid laner that might be melee as well, that could be 4 melee champions into the Braum, and having champions that run into you and starting to proc the passive right, left, and center is just so much easier when you do play into melee champions. So, waiting to see what Vitality B. There is another melee champion. That's 4 melee champions into a Braum.
That's a Malphite, so that obviously fits into the puzzle piece somehow. Yet another Katarina hover to just cancel out the previous hover from Vitality B, so regardless now, Trouble. The Katarina hover won't have a 100% win rate as they look to go towards or something.
No, I just realized they ruined my win rate. Why? No, that is cheating. That is cheating. Okay, listen, okay. The first team to hover it only gets the win rate, okay?
Okay, so it's the first hover. That's how we count the win rate from now on. So it might still be 100% if Vitality B pull through.
Yeah, Binsus doesn't count.
Okay, so Binsus doesn't count. We just cancel those out and end up losing. Or if Vitality B lose, us again, this hover didn't count. We are going with Binsus instead. Still 100% win rate, depending on how you count. Regardless, this draft has gotten very spicy. Is that a Malphite versus Sylas mid lane matchup I'm looking at?
Okay, so Night and Rabble, ladies and gentlemen, come from a team called Gamer Legion. We used to call them last year the mad scientists of drafts. They would draft anything and everything, considering the fact that they also had Hyanan in the bot lane, who played a lot of mages and whatnot. They're still bringing the same spice to a Go Rogue. They're bringing Ivern in the mid lane, now Ivern in the bot lane, Sylas mid, still the Rengar into the jungle, but it won't have sort of the same effect because now the Ivern is mostly towards the bot side of the map. You will see a lot of the mix up with the bushes later on when the Ivern is unlocked from lane and you start seeing the team fights.
I don't know what to think, Trouble. This draft has got me so excited. It is already a banging matchup, a battle for first. Vitality B don't want to face their French brothers in arms, so they want to get that first seed as quickly as possible. Winner takes all in this matchup, as the loser will have to deal with the second seed.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to be taking the second seed because, again, first seed so far have been Bifrost, KC, and LDLC. 2 LFL and 1 NLC team. I need to reiterate here that they are both finalists back-to-back. EU Masters 2021 Spring, NLC versus LFL. EU Masters 2021 Summer, NLC versus LFL. You definitely do not want to be facing any of the two, so you want to be taking that first seed if you are Vitality B or a Go Rogue.
The pressure is high, not only to juke the strong teams, but for RGO Rogue as well. To live up to the legacy, RGO Rogue before 2021 always did well at Amazon European Masters, always developed the next best talent to head into the LEC, but 2021, not the greatest year as they failed to make it out of groups both times. They've already made it past that stage now though, but they want to get that first seed to assert the dominance and say, we are back.
Absolutely, and might we remind you that 4 out of 5 members of that Go Rogue roster made it instantly onto the LEC the exact next season. Rogue has been a factory of talent as well. If we go even further back with the likes of Inspired and Larsen coming in, now playing in like the biggest teams that we have in the LEC and Inspired over in the LCS as well. So Go Rogue have been very consistent with producing and developing and bleeding talent into the LEC as well. And this Go Rogue roster looks very, very promising to do the same too.
And let's just take a look at what Vitality B have done here. They have taken Sugenda on the Gwen, of course, but now they've moved the mid lane against Knight. So Simmenbeck will be playing against Diplex. The good ton of play connects in the bot lane. Shouldn't be too much else though. As the trade back, it's a very weird trading pattern here with the Ivern in the bot lane. Regardless though, my point still stands about the mid-top swap.
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, I think it hurts more the mid lane to swap towards the top side of the map, right? The map state towards the top side is a little bit more different. And even though technically every single pro player should know where to play in every single lane, it's much harder to sort of navigate yourself, if you will, from mid lane to top lane. The lane is much longer. There's a lot more harm to be done on the top side. If you mess up a wave, if you mess up one minion, Jack Troll here is going to take a little bit of damage from the tower. But the point stands that Diplex is now playing in a much longer lane onto the Malphite. And if the wave state is a little bit dodgy, his jungler might not be there as easily as he would be in the mid lane.
And I mean, Sigenda so far doing pretty good in this mid lane. Knight balancing on a knife's edge, or should I say a scissors edge in this lane, really, as he goes with the Kingslayer, gets the heal and manages to survive, but Sigenda so far putting on a clinic in these trades.
Yeah, and Sigenda is winning this trade really hard, because if you look at the inventory as well, Sigenda just popped his pot, whilst Knight has popped already both. They've both regened him to full, and he's only 50% HP. Now, Rabble is going to head towards the top side of the map, where Simivac is, because that wave needs to be shoved in. Simivac is really, really low HP at this point, which means that he needs to be extremely patient, wait for his jungler, but Diplex has a very clever ward on the top side that will spot out the Rengar.
Yeah, as you say, it is a clever ward, and Diplex should be safe here. Simivac, oh, pretty.
They should
low,
know.
so.
They should know from that, from the fact that Diplex didn't walk in to get these two minions, that this has been warded, and this is exactly why Rabble will jump out and try to shove in the wave.
But so far, though, dropping these small trades, it has actually gone well for VITB, as they have swapped around the laners, as we said, and doing fine in these trades. As we look down towards the mid lane, though, something here has happened that means now Sigenda is the
I'm
one with
seeing
the
a
least
flash
HP.
gone. I'm seeing a ghost gone. I think that was a trade in the mid lane that we didn't get to see because we're looking at the top side of the map. But mobility summoners have been taken out from both the mid laners. I think the biggest one so far would have to be the flash on tonight. And Skins might be looking around for a gank mid.
Is obviously on the early game champion as he's walking towards the top lane. And with Rebel stopping his recall here, he might just walk straight into Skins, as he is taking the ground, but seems like nowhere to be found as he's in the mid lane. If we get a replay of what happened before, a flash of Scon of Duck missed from Knight, and yeah,
just a friendly pat between the two mid laners, if you will, and back to Simivac on Jax, going into mid lane to find Jack Troll as well. He'll just hop away and get out. But the whole idea of drafting the Malphite, right? You want to be playing into an AD champion. You want to be playing into the Jax. You don't want to be playing into the Sylas. So the swapping again. This time it's going to be the mid laners ending up the tops of the map. There is a two-wave stack right now crashing underneath Knight's tower. And he's going to have to actually pull out of this one because Jack Troll is also tops of the map.
These map rotations are hard to keep up with, but it's clear to see 3 men of VITB want to put some pressure here.
5 members of a Go Rogue top side.
Members of a Go Rogue as Diplex is caught under the turret and gets taken down. That's just a quick solo kill. First blood for Knight as they look for more. Simivac jumps forward but can't quite find anything. No damage in the Jax in the early game. He backs off. One quick kill though by Go Rogue.
That was a little bit of a whoopsie right there from Diplex, because I think he did damage to Knight whilst crossing that tower, which means that he took 2 tower shots for no reason, which means that even if he had flashed, he wouldn't have gotten away. Nevertheless, it is a kill onto Knight's Sylas, of course, and he will get to shove in the wave as well. A little bit of a whoopsie for VITB, considering that they spent so many resources and people up the tops of the map.
Needleweighting is out as the Sonic Wave connects, but Skins doesn't want to go under the turret, so Simivac able to get out. But let's take a look at the replay trouble. Knight just catches out Diplex.
Yeah, so Diplex is running through the tower, and right here you see that once Knight connects, the tower also starts hitting Diplex as well, which is quite unfortunate. He gets the tower shot and he ends up falling to Knight. I'll call this a solo bolo. I don't think the towers count right there, so I will call this a solo bolo, if you will.
And we can always call the solo bolo as long as there aren't any assists, and the turret doesn't show up on the assist, so I'll give you that one, Trouble, as the game looks to slow down a little as the map rotations though do continue. Knight moving towards the top lane as Simivac back in the mid lane.
Yeah, I think Agorok are doing a great job into fixing their own matchups around. But at the end of the day, when you're moving so much around the map and considering how Knight in the top side was deprived of so much of that golden experience from the 2 huge waves that were crashing underneath his tower, and then Simivac has been moving around the map to try and chase Sigenda around to play in the matchup that he chose in Champ Select, they're both falling quite behind in CS.
Beams though goes over the blast cone, looks for Jack Troll. Does connect with the Wind Spite, and the damage most certainly is there from 4 members. Jack Troll tries to dance around, but Rabble picks it up.
Really good stuff right here from Agorok. They're actually pushing towards the bot side of the map. They're bundling up as 4 or 5 members so far, and they're chasing around Vitality B. Remember, if they have the Ivern / Rengar combo, they can actually hop, skip, and jump onto whatever champion they want. Salas is pretty mobile as well. Jax does the same. So they are playing this sort of chase game where if they have the Ivern around, they can engage whatever fights they want. So far, they have been Vitality B has tried to out-rotate Agorok, but Agorok has replied equally.
So Diplex now back in the mid lane as he is ahead in CS compared to Simnivek. So that's who we compare it to. They are doing pretty good on these rotations, Vitality B, at the very least in gaining a small CS.
And again, Knight here has found himself Sigenda. Oh,
Needlework, I don't think that's gonna save you, Sigenda. You just get taken down very quickly. Knight picks up the kill.
and again, you see that Rabble, the second he's level 6, he will look for picks onto the map. Binzu also bundles up with him so well every single time. And I think that triplet right here, Knight, Binzu, and Rabble, have been doing wonders on the map. Binzu has been literally everywhere. Level 5 Brom, just applying that one mark of passive onto any target. And because everyone is so slippery and mobile and can really apply that Brom passive super quickly, it's just so easy for it to actually pop and take someone down.
Simnivek in this top lane could be in trouble. Diplex has the
still-
unstoppable
Ooh.
force. A good flush away from Simnivek as he stays safe for now, throws out the bronze emote. And now though, Knight might look to trade back here. Doesn't have the hijack though, so can't take the unstoppable force. Misses the abscond abduct. And does go in with the King's Snare. The damage though isn't really there as he has to back out.
So if you're a gold rogue right here, you want to be chasing after putting the Sylas into the Malphite. The Malphite, as you can see, is building towards that AD. I wouldn't be surprised if the first item that we see coming out of Malphite is a Frozen Heart as well, playing versus the Jax and the Rengar. And also, especially with the Ardent Sensor comes through for the Ivern as well, it's going to be a big boost onto these auto attacks as well. So you definitely want to have these versus 2 AD targets. So it's going to be big stonks for Diplex to get that Frozen Heart early. But then, if you swap Knight into him on a side lane, it's going to be a little bit problematic because then you're itemized for AD, but you're playing against a very fed Sylas who just finished that Everfrost as well.
So it's kind of like a game where they are trying to read each other's mind. Okay, so if Diplex is about to move mid, they send Knight mid while Simnivek goes top against Sugenda. Or is that kind of the play here? They just kind of dance around the rotations?
Yeah, absolutely. I think both teams are trying to out-rotate each other right here, and it's sort of turned on Vitality B's head, right? Because a Go Rogue are a little bit ahead of the play. They also have Rabble onto the Rengar. They've pulled the trigger twice. They've gotten the kill twice. Recipient has been Knight onto that Sylas, which I believe is probably the best target to have it on, because your Jax is going to scale into the late game. Your Rengar is going to be that tank into the late game with the Gold Drinker / Death Dance. But Knight is your only proper AP damage dealer, so feeding him first whilst everyone is building armor on the side of Vitality B is going to be huge.
This is League of Legends for the high IQ enjoyer. It is League of Legends for the intellectuals when a rotation can win you the game. And it can also cost you one as Sugenda fighting here. Up with Knight as they simply just try and trade away. But Sugenda, you're not in a 1v1 at the moment as here comes Rebel. Thrill of the hunt, the Hell of Mist will only keep you safe for now as he gets CC'd up and taken down by Knight.
And who is it again? It's Knight, Rabble, and Binzu. The triplet of death. Binzu has been everywhere. I'm going to say this over and over and over again, but...
Simnivek though, CC'd up, taken down by Skis.
And all this time, if you look on the map, it has been a fight between Vitality B winning the bot side of the map with Jeskla, and on the other side, Agoro winning the top side of the map, which we said is going to be, of course, the focus, especially since you have an Ivern towards the bot side, right? On one side, you want your Xayah to be fed, because she's going to be your primary damage dealer, at least in the early games, since she's going for lethality. And on the other side, you want to get your Sylas and your Rengar ahead, so they can become really big threats.
I'm gonna be honest here, Trouble. I completely forgot Jessica was in the game. He's just been farming down on the bot lane, and he's been farming up a storm. He got the bot lane turret as well, as you mentioned. And Jessica is going to be a scary carry in the late game.
He is. But I'll raise you that there is a Brom in this game that can very easily stop a lot of the feathers, and the other 4 members that are remaining, except the Ivan Force, are going to be extremely tanky and they heal a lot. So I'm expecting to see for Jesla maybe something like an early Executioner is coming on through, especially since all of the healing that's going to be happening on the Rengar and the Sylas is going to be extremely annoying to deal with. And as you can see here, Vitality B are bundling up with their bot laner that has been farming a storm, as you said, to try and take down Knight.
See what Knight can do in the 1v3, takes the Solar Flare, hits it onto 2 men, stays alive with the King's Death for now, misses the abscond abduct, and he sees it up yet again. Beansu can't quite make it in, as Knight almost takes down Skeens, but it's just not quite enough, as Rebel might be looking for something here himself, but can't quite find anything. Thrill of the Hunt becomes Thrill of the Jungle as he walks back to his grunt.
Yeah, Ignite and heal taken away from Jesla and Jackdraw, but at the end of the day, it is a kill onto Knight. They shut him down, they get the gold ahead, they get it onto their Lee Sin. Skins hasn't been able to find a lot of opportunities in this game yet, so we're expecting to see more later on in the game. It's going to be much easier, especially since it's like 3-4 melees diving in to get that kick and take them off of your carry. So I really do like the Lee Sin kick here, and even though he hasn't done much in the early game, I think he's going to be extremely valuable to keep Jesla alive later on.
Certainly a cooldown we'll look out for as the Dragon Raid becomes more and more important, as you say. When we go into this late game, teamfights just though, 40 minutes in. It's a cheap 2-item spike, but it is a 2-item spike regardless, so pretty strong at this point of the game. Otherwise though, it is the rest of Vitality B looking to pick up their first items. Many of them have. It is mainly, do we say top laners here, as Diplex is now back in the mid lane, but still the only one needing the first item, and so is Simnivek.
Yeah, I'm looking at Simnivek right here, and he's backing, so I'm not sure if he has... Sandra, okay.
Just
it was like 2 scenes, Half-Life 3 confirmed, but it wasn't. It was the full Sandra right there, and I think they're all gonna head towards the bot side of the map, right? Everybody has their core mythic item completed. Everfrost into the Sylas, Moonstone, and if you look over to Deeplex, he hasn't had his first mythic completed, which means right now you've got an advantage if you're a Go Rogue. Rubble does have his Gold Drinker, which is extremely crucial, but if Beansu and any other member of a Go Rogue keeps getting poked out by Jeskla's Feathers, who's extremely strong right now, as you mentioned, the double out and power spike coming through, it's going to be extremely difficult to walk through choke points.
Legenda has started up the Drake, but dashes out. And as you say, Daisy is gone. That's a big cooldown removed. Now Vitality B might want to step forward, might want to force the fight as Rebel gets poked down a bit, but heals with the W locker. Forced to flash as Legenda forces that out of him. And now Jackdraw goes forward. The CC though misses due to a good Simnivek E, and he stays alive. And they turn it back onto Jackdraw. The Drake is doing work as Legenda goes into the hollow. Miss still alive. The steal couldn't come through as Schemes now has to try and get himself out, but he doesn't have a ward jump. He doesn't have a flash, and he just gets taken down. Knight now with the unstoppable force goes towards Jesper, but a good flash gets him out to safety. Now Schemes also dead, and Rogue, they back off with 2 kills in their back pocket.
That was such a great fight from a Go Rogue. Diplex does not even get to use his R button. They zone away everyone from Vitality B, and they take the Dragon away very crucially. 2-0 and 3 right now for Rebel's Rengar. And let's have a look at this again, because as you can see, Jackdraw is channeling his Hex Flash to get onto Beansu, but then Beansu gets away, the root lands, and then Rengar dances beautifully around all of these fake bushes that Laka put down onto his Ivan. Takes the Dragon as well. They're cashing in on 2 kills, and look at Knight dashes forward, takes the unstoppable force, forces Jesla's not only ultimate but flash as well, which means that this Xayah will not have it for the next fights to come.
The game troubles so even 700 gold separating these 2 teams, and we can clearly see that they both have their different win conditions. Rebel yet again having a good game off on the Rengar, but he will lose out on this crucial objective as it is Skeen first on the second Herald.
And as you can see, everything's going great, I think, for a Go Rogue. 3-1-1 onto your Sylas is exactly the member you want to have fed first, because again, he's your core AP damage dealer since the Gwen was yoinked away in Champ Select by Sigenda. Then on the other side, Rubble, you mentioned as well, has a great game so far. 2-0-3, Gold Drinker, going towards that Death Stance as well. He's going to be absolutely unbeatable. There is a pink wall that they've both run through, which means that they have been spotted, and it has been spotted that the Rengar is playing towards the bot side of the map. So again, is going to play extremely carefully underneath his tower. Pink ward is going to get supported right now by Rabble as well, but The second you see Binzu bundling up with either Knight or Rubble, expect a lot of action on the map because it has been these core three making the plays around.
Skeens throws down the Herald in the mid lane, might be looking for a fight as Jactrell goes forward with the Hex Flash. Solar Flag connects into Rebel, might go forth here as he gets kicked back into the team. The CC is there, the unstoppable force. Rebel is down, do they want even more? But Knight tries to trade back, he goes forward, he gets CC'd up as well, the Blade Caller could come through. Goes Golden with the stopwatch to buy a bit of time, flashes away to safety. A very good Everfrost here.
Oh, they're going in!
Buy more time for him. Cinder gets in on the flank. Could he get in from someone, but the damage just isn't quite there for the side of RGO Rogue, and they're losing members left, right, and center. Cinder forced as well as Uganda, able to stay alive. 2 for 1 in favor of Vitality B.
Ooh, 2 for 1 and the mid-lane tower. We take those. If you're an LFL fan, you should be very happy with that team fight from Vitality B right there. And even though it came really, really close, if you look at the main carry of Vitality B, Jeskla still has his ultimate up and available, which means he never got threatened. Skins right here will pop the Rift Herald, and the second they see the Unbreakable go up on Binzu, they know this is the go battle. They have no way of stopping the feathers anymore from Jeskla, and this is why they pull the trigger with Jactrell's Leona as well. Skins dives deep into the tower, kicks the Rengar out, which means that Rubble has no way out. Cashes in on that shutdown from the Kitty Cat as well. And then when Knight goes too deep, that Rift Herald is going to finish up the tower, which means they can actually dive even further. Again, Jeskla has not been touched the entire time, and by the time Simivac comes in, the fight is pretty much already over. All that Gorog are able to cash in is the support, and Bean's in trouble.
Yeah, we're not done fighting trouble as Beans could get taken down here, but the shields starting to prove very fruitful for this RGO Rogue roster. The game dead even at the 19-minute mark. We're certainly in for a banger. Remember, the battle for first place winner takes that first seed. Loser gets the second seed. It is important for both of these teams to secure themselves the quote-unquote easier matchup in the semis. Of course, rather.
Absolutely. Again, for Vitality B, the LFL, if you are an LFL fan, you've got 3 teams moving forward into the quarterfinals. If they all secure first seed, you could potentially have all 3 of them securing semis as well. So for our French fans to be happy, Vitality B need to take that first seed to avoid all other LFL teams going forward to the quarterfinals. And Go Rogue, of course, the only remaining Ultraliga team. They really want that first seed as well for the exact same reasons. Avoiding those LFL representatives, and of course the NLC representative Bifrost from the NLC.
And Sigenda is in the side lane, taking down the top lane turret. He going up against his former organization, the team that he won the EU Masters with, of course, as he took that back in 2020 summer trouble. You've mentioned it quite a lot of times, and it is the pride of RGO Rogue by doing well in EU Masters. Amazon EU Masters, rather, actually. It's just the way of RGO Rogue. They want to develop the next talent, and you mentioned it before, Sigenda made it to the LEC. Had a pretty fruitful time making it into the playoffs with Vitality B, but when Alfari came in, he is now back, and he has been dominating, really, at the Amazon European Masters.
Not surprising, one of the big talents that RGO Rogue came out with. Sigenda did great in the LEC, now back in the ERLs. He said it himself that his goal is to get back into the LEC, and with performances like he's been putting up so far, it could be pretty likely. Vitality B with an extremely strong roster, 4 ex-LEC players on it, doing great. 35,000 gold for them, 2,000 gold in the lead so far. Again, all eyes on Jeskla. If Jeskla survives, if Jeskla is unthreatened in these fights, then you know that Vitality B are going to win those. On the other side, you've got champions like Jax, Rengar, Silas that can dive onto that Xayah and take her out. Knight has been picking up the unstoppable force from Diplex the entire time. This is very threatening for somebody like the Xayah.
And I think also highlighting Jeskla, not only for his performances this game, but his story as well is very interesting. We've had so many players make it from the Amazon European Masters into the LEC, but not all of them stuck instantly, and pretty quickly they were thrown back out into the ERLs, and so many of these players are fighting to prove that they still got what it takes to compete at the top level. Jeskla, one of those after not the greatest year with Astralis, I think it's fair to say, now back in the ERLs, and he's been performing very well on this Vitality B roster. You see it here, just this game.
Back into our screens, RGO Rogue are trying to find ways to get back the vision from their own jungle, probably try to bleed it into Vitality B's jungle, You have, again, the assassin, you have the Silas, you want to be the one that controls the vision, you want to be the one that dictates the pace and how the plays are going. Look at Jack Troll, he's hovering on the side together with Skins, they're looking for a play. Jessica though, oh, send me back.
Yeah, he sees it up. There is really no way out of this one as again that comes in as well. Now though, RGO Rogue, do you want the fight 4v5 as there isn't really an objective fight over on this side of the map, so look to back off as the Thrill of the Hunt won't be used. Beansu kiting off as well. Vitality B will take the turn.
Back with the big oopsie right there. He walks into a jungle that does not belong to him at all. There was a bot lane wave pushed. There was a top lane wave pushed. Vitality have got the macro going on for themselves. They're pushing top and bot. And then they walk straight into the jungle they had previously warded for themselves. And obviously, if you are a Go Rogue, you definitely do not want to be fighting very tight choke points because these feathers from a Lethality Xayah are going to hurt a lot.
Vitality B now in a small goal lead, but it is certainly something that can't be felt. They have chosen some good team fights in these past 5 minutes. The Baron is on the cards, and now though, as I mentioned, Vitality B have been winning the past few team fights. What does RGO Rogue do to win? What is their playstyle without a real AD carry, really?
So far, especially since they have Rubble, we've seen Rubble, Knight, and Beansu bundling up as 3 and trying to take out somebody on the side lane. I think this is exactly what you need to be doing. Try to take a pick first, and then try to use your numbers advantage and the bushes from the Ivern to move around the map. You see that the Ivern already has the Moonstone. That means the shields are of much higher value. You see that the Jax also has 2 items, which is very important. Got the Wit's End right here to be able to side lane into the Gwen as well, and ding ding ding, 200 gold bounty onto a 0-2 Gwen that has been farming 40 CS ahead. Go into a side lane, maybe try to cash in on that one instead of trying to 5 vs 5 into Jessica's very strong Xayah.
Projectile though would like to 5v5, of course. That's just what Vitality B wants to do. Rebel CC'd up yet again. Can they go in for him? Cinderback jumps in, but his E-Ran runs out beforehand. Jacktroll yet again dashes forward with the Cinderblade. TP in from Sagenda. He does have the Needlework and he's doing the damage, and it is enough for RGO Rogue at the moment to be crumbling down under the scissors. They're being cut to pieces just by 1,000 needle. A double kill for Diplex. Vitality B win the fight.
Very sad B right there if you're not Go Rogue fans. Sagenda 1v2.
Rebel could take him down, but here comes Jesper to save his top laner. And that will certainly succeed as Rebel goes back to try and clear the minions. The W and the shield will keep him safe, but just barely RGO Rogue surviving.
And we just mentioned it right, if Jeskla is unthreatened the entire fight, you know Vitality B are going to win this fight. His flash still up and available, 2, 0, and 5. You see how precious it is to have a Gwen giving you space. 4 melees jumping onto you, it doesn't matter because Skins is playing Lee Sin. All it takes is one R button and then you literally kick 3 or 2 members away. Diplex onto that Malphite. You've got Jack Troll onto the Leona. There is so much protection around the Xayah. Beansu
Beansu tries to flank, but he gets flanked himself. Another fight is fully explosive as Slugger has to flash away. Simnivek gets shredded in the front line. There is simply nothing RGO Rogue can do. Rabble goes back forward, trying to get onto Jessica, but he goes golden with his stopwatch. He falls in the end, and Rabble is almost back to full HP, but it's not enough. No one can stop Vitality B as they charge forward, and they take down 5.
And that is an ace clean right there from Vitality B. And the only reason Jeskla died right there is because I think his ultimate was on cooldown for maybe another 1 or 2 seconds. But it doesn't matter. You've got enough damage between the Lee Sin and the Gwen to take down the Baron. Leona and Malphite can also tank the Baron, and only Beansu on that Braum is up because he was the first one to get caught. Vitality B are starting to extend their gold lead, 6,000 gold right now, and they're marching forward to that first seed.
Beansu is simply just here to watch them lose the Baron. There is no jungle, there is no smite. They just can't do anything about it. It's now a 7k gold lead for the side of Vitality B as they look to close out on the first seed rather. But let's take a look. Beansu tries to flank, but he just gets turned upon.
Yeah, absolutely. Beansu goes a little bit too far forward. He's trying to make the play, but again, remember, it was Knight, Rubble, and Beansu together, bundling up as 3 that were trying to make the plays. But ever since then, ever since Vitality have been getting caught out 1 by 1, they've always been going as 5, protecting Jeskla. Jeskla was completely protected right there, ends up going down only at the very end, where the actual fight was over. Now, the win condition shows on the map. on your screen, sorry, right underneath a Go Rogue's kill score, 3 dragons. It's going to be the Hextech Dragon as well. If they can reach that soul point, a little bit more damage, maybe it will be the win condition for them. But so far, it's Vitality B with the Baron, with the mid lane push, taking that inhibitor down.
They are marching towards the base. They might just want to lock that first seed right here. They are so close to doing it. They can feel the safety of not having to play against their brothers in arms, the other LFL representatives. They want to get that first seed. They want to get the easier matchup. They want to juke the NLC and LFL, and they're so close to doing it. And it was just was the main win condition before, but it feels like everyone just does too much damage on Vitality B.
Yeah, and remember that it's a little bit too difficult for a Go Rogue to play against Vitality.
He finds for the soul of that, and they just delete. No one can stop. No one can top Vitality B as they will stand atop Group A.
That was absolutely disgusting by Diplex, the 4-man unstoppable force, and Vitality is just that. They're going to brush off any dust off of their LFL shoulders and show why the LFL comes out first seed of any group.
Run from them, dreaded LFL arrives all the same. 3 out of 4 seeds make it out of groups. 3 out of 4 seeds make it as first seed. The LFL just dominate the Amazon European Masters.
If you're an LFL fan, you must be really, really, really happy right now. You've got 3 first seeds. That means none of your teams are going to be facing each other in the quarterfinals, and they all look damn strong. So potentially we could have even 3 LFL teams going forward to the semifinals. This is an insane showing from the French region yet again. And we have 3 first seeds from the LFL, 1 first seed for the NLC, and then we have an Ultra League representative, a Prime League representative, and then another NLC representative. This is looking too good for LFL.
The game was going pretty well for both teams. They both had their win conditions, and within, 2-3 minutes trouble, Vitality B snapped and they just won the game. That last fight by Diplex was disturbing. Let's take a look at the highlights, and I can't wait to watch that last fight again. It took 3 seconds and it was done.
I don't know if it took 3 seconds for you. For me, I blinked and everyone was gone from my screen. But of course, let's take it from the start right here, because I feel like Vitality B, once they realized how strong Jeskla is, you said, I haven't seen Jeskla the entire game, and that was the truth. He took all the tower platings down bot lane. He took a bunch of CS on his own, and experience and gold, which meant that he was a very strong Xayah. He had a very early 2-item power spike as well. So every time he was protected in the fights by everyone around him, everyone was playing around Jeskla to keep him safe. And every time Binsu would step a little bit further forward to try and apply the passive mark onto anyone, would get instantly punished. Just here, Jack Troll was hitting ultimate after ultimate. The second anyone was trying to get onto Jeskla, the entire team will pile up onto them, and Skins with the kicks as well would use them onto multiple members to try and keep his AD carry alive. And here, Jeskla, you see this team fight as well, untouched completely, whilst the entire Vitality B roster is still up and available. Skins here will also find Binsu really, really great stuff from the entire roster of Vitality B.
Yeah, this was really the last quote-unquote close fight. RGO Rogue end up losing everyone, but they fight back in this one. At the very least, they managed to take down Jeskla, one of the main carries of Vitality B. But the next replay that's coming up, just enjoy it when it comes, honestly. Blink and you'll miss it. It is domination. Diplex, the rookie in the sea of veterans, finds the fight that pulls Vitality B into the quarterfinals.
Oh, so there we go. Rogue is actually bundling up as 4 members, and Diplex is coming from the flank. Flash, unstoppable force into Xayah Feathers, into everything. And the kitchen saying that was so beautiful. Honestly, that wasn't 3 seconds, Duckling. That was literally, I just blinked and everyone disappeared.
They didn't have a chance to fight back. They lost 4 kills instantly. It was within a second, really. Everything was there. The solar flare and the featherstorm as well, just to have the blade caller ready as well. Everything just came together, and you can see it. Look at the goal when they got the fight. Instantly a spike upwards.
Yeah, and look at the damage as well. 20.6k for Jeskla's Xayah. That's exactly what they left him down alone. When we said they were trading sides, right? They were trading top side of the map for them to feed the bot side of the map, which was Jeskla on that Xayah. A bunch of talent platings, a bunch of solo experience and gold, and it honestly came to fruition. 20.6k. He was literally bodyguarded by his entire team every single team fight. And I think we've talked about this a few times when a team will pull out a composition, right? And it works the first time. Sometimes it's very easy for your opponent team to decipher what went right. For example, when a Golrog pulled out the Ivan Rengar together with the Soraka, we said the main issue running this comp for your opponent team is the Soraka, is not necessarily just the Rengar together with the Ivan, because you saw now that Rubble went forward, but he was dying pretty easily. He didn't have the backup of the Wisp, didn't have the backup from the heal. And honestly, when you have also the Gwen on the sideline for you together with the Rengar, you've got a hyperscaling AP carry. This time they didn't have that. It unfortunately showed. Silas was not enough, and there was just not consistent damage coming through from a Golrog.
And let's be honest, even if they had the Soraka in the last fight, I don't think that would have changed anything. It was simply perfection from Vitality. But let's take a look at the standings, because now, Trouble, the Amazon European Masters group stage is over. We have all our teams heading into the quarterfinals. We have all our first seeds. And obviously, we talked about it, 3 of them are from the LFL.
Okay, so because I do cast the NLC, I just want to say that there is one chance, 1 out of 4 scenarios, that the NLC will face an NLC team, which saddens me a lot, but there's a lot of chances that we have LFL versus NLC in the quarterfinals back-to-back, which has been our finals in the entirety of 2021 season.
We could genuinely have a semi-final consisting of X7 Esports versus LDLC. That would be hype. That would be incredibly hype. I am insanely excited to see how the quarterfinals go, and we want to hear what Vitality B feel about today, going 2-1 and making their way into the quarterfinals at the first seed. So we are joined by none other than Worlds participant in Jack Troll. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here, and congratulations on your first place in the group.
Good afternoon. No, good evening, actually. I'm happy to have interview with you. How do I feel about first place? Well, to be honest, it was like the minimal goal for us. Like the ideal goal was to go 6-0, but we failed today. We fell short, but that happens. It's fine. The first place is all it matters. Yeah, and I'm in general very happy.
Doctor, you look extremely excited with your performance, and you probably should be, because you guys looked really, really dominant. Especially, honestly, your bot lane together with Jeskla looks so freaking solid so far in this Amazon European Masters, and your team looks like one of the strongest contenders that we have. I want to have your opinion in general, not just for Vitality B, but like you had 4 teams as LFL coming into the European Masters. The ones that did make it to quarterfinals, all first seeds. Tell me what your opinion is about all this.
I mean, to no one's surprise, I think LFL is the strongest region. I mean, I heard some news that LVP is the better team in drafts, and LFL cannot draft against tank top and tank support. All memes aside, whoever has any common sense, I think he would knew that LFL is the strongest region, and LFL will bring back the trophy home, and it's going to be Vitality B, of course.
For the 3rd time in a row, by the way, for the 3rd time in a row.
Yeah.
Jack Troll, moving towards the quarterfinals, you have the chance to face anyone but an LFL team. If you could choose any team out of all the second seeds, which one would it be?
I would choose Fnatic to settle the LVP LFL battle from the get-go. And honestly, we are here to win it all. So I want to play against the strongest opponents from the very beginning of the playoffs. I don't want to play against like the weakest opponent on the paper. I just want to go really hard from the scratch. And yeah, I hope we're gonna draw Fnatic in quarters.
Well, I hope you do draw Fnatic, because that would be a delight to watch, since Fnatic made it in the finals and fell to an LFL team in the previous season as well.
And actually as well... no, doesn't matter. Never mind. Just keep going.
No, say it. Speak your mind. Speak your mind, Jack Troll.
No, because actually, so I want to take my revenge on Wait, was it Fnatic? Yeah, I think it was Fnatic that knocked me out from Misfits Premier
Yes.
in semifinals of last EU Masters, and I played against Bean Rax as a bot lane. Yeah, I mean, I had some fog in my brain. That's why I said never mind. But yeah, so to keep going on my point, I'm glad if we go against Fnatic because I have some unfinished business against Rax and Bean in the bot lane. So I hope we're gonna play against each other very, very soon.
Okay, Jack Troll. You play against Fnatic, let's say in quarterfinals, yeah? What is the score? Best of 5, what's your score?
3-0 and we go next.
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna save this real quickly on my phone so I can tweet it later to you. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Oh
and
my
then we
God.
can go interview after.
Yeah, call in 4K. Call in 4K, Jack Troll.
Jack Troll, you are amazing at interviews. I want to know, how far can this iteration of VITB go?
How far? I mean, till the end, of course. I mean, this roster was made to win it all. Unfortunately, we fell short in LFL, but EU Masters is the most prestigious tournament for ERL. And I think we are having decent performance right now in EU Masters, in Amazon EU Masters, sorry, pardon.
Thank you very much.
And I think we're just gonna keep performing on the better level. And actually, I'm always performing better in playoffs, so I'm glad that we made it out of groups.
Oh, so we get the Super Saiyan Jack Troll now.
I mean, that's what you said, but yeah, pretty much.
Oh, damn.
I
Okay.
can't wait. I can't wait. Jack Troll, you have been incredible to have on the interview. It's been great having you here. Thank you so much. And congratulations on making it out as first seed. Hopefully, talk to you soon, man. You were incredible to have you. Thank you.
It's my pleasure, but 1 second, because LFL Cast
go
always ask me if I can give some shout out, so I just give shout out for myself. I want to shout
for
out
it.
my family, my grandpa, my girlfriend Ula, my whole family and the whole audience, and the LFL fans are the best. Same with Polish, of course. And what else do I say? Just enjoy the evening. Bye bye.
Thank you, Jack Troll. Thank you. That was wonderful. Oh, I love that. I love that. I remember back on his time in Vitality in the main team in 2018. He didn't get that many interviews. It feels great to finally hear from him what he has to say. I love it. We still have you here. Thank you, Jack Troll. It's been great having you.
He's not going.
Yeah,
He's not going
invited.
anywhere.
He's staying. He's passed off the broadcast and now
You're
he's
part
going
of
to
the
be
broadcast
casting
now.
for a final. Regardless, thank you so much. This has been
My
incredible.
pleasure.
Wow. That was probably the best interview we had, maybe in the history of Amazon European Masters.
MVP,
honestly.
MVP, clearly.
Wow, that was incredible.
And 100% win rate on the Katarina hover, by the way.
100%. Yeah, technically as the first team that hovered. We'll give you that, Trouble. We'll give you that. It has been an amazing day to round out the Amazon European Masters group stage. It has been great being here. That is it for me on the broadcast. My road ends here, but I have loved being with you, Trouble. I have loved being with Nymara. And
It has been a
great
pleasure.
being on this broadcast. I want to thank every single one of you watching. I want to thank our players for being great entertainers and playing some good League of Legends. And I wish
Big
you all the
shout out
best
to
for
Jack
the
Troll
semifinals.
as well.
Shout
You're
out to Jack
fantastic.
Troll and to his girlfriend, to his family, to everyone in and around Jack Troll. This has been it for me, Duckling, and Trouble, of course. You'll be back for quarters. Thank you, production, for running a great show. Enjoy your night, everyone. And hopefully, we'll see you all soon for the quarters.